Every day, millions of Americans overlook the possibility that extraordinary wealth could be hiding in plain sight. They empty their pockets, cash in jars of loose change, and ignore old collections tucked away in closets and attics. Collectors, however, see things differently. They understand that the smallest details can separate a 1-cent coin from a life-changing discovery. Coin's world today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics, the legendary 1944 mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, a coin surrounded by mystery, fueled by rare minting errors, and capable of generating intense competition whenever an authentic example surfaces. Some experts and collectors believe that under the right circumstances, a top-tier specimen with the correct error characteristics could approach values as high as $781,000. That number sounds almost impossible, but by the end of this video, you'll understand why serious collectors never stop examining pennies. Because sometimes, the difference between a spender and a collector is hundreds of thousands of dollars. The story begins during one of the most dramatic periods in American history. In 1944, the United States was still deeply involved in World War II. Resources were being carefully managed, manufacturing priorities were shifting, and the U.S. Mint was operating under unique circumstances. The Lincoln wheat penny had already become one of the most recognizable coins in America, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. It circulated through every corner of the country. But beneath the surface of normal production, something unusual was happening. The previous year had seen one of the most famous experiments in American coinage. Due to wartime copper shortages, many 1943 pennies were struck using zinc-coated steel instead of the traditional bronze alloy. Then came 1944. The mint returned to bronze production. At least, that was the plan. Yet somewhere inside the minting process, a small number of mistakes slipped through, and those mistakes would eventually become the stuff of numismatic legend. Now here's a quick challenge for you. Think about how many pennies you've handled in your lifetime. Thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands. How many did you actually inspect? Probably very few. That's exactly why these rare coins continue to surprise people. Some are still hiding in collections, inherited estates, forgotten jars, and old coin albums. Back to our story. The most famous 1944 Lincoln wheat penny errors involve metal composition anomalies. During production transitions, a few leftover steel plan case from 1943 are believed to have remained in the minting equipment. When these steel blanks were accidentally struck with 1944 dies, an extraordinary rarity was created. Imagine a 1944 penny that should have been bronze but was instead struck on a steel plankette. To the average person, it might look strange. To a collector, it looks like a jackpot. These coins are among the rarest Lincoln cents ever produced. Their scarcity is so extreme that many collectors spend an entire lifetime hoping to see one in person. But that's only the beginning. The mint mark itself plays a critical role. Certain examples from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco possess different rarity levels depending on their production characteristics and documented populations. Collectors pay close attention to every detail: the placement of the mint mark, the shape of the numbers, the strike quality, the surface texture, and most importantly, evidence of authentic mint errors. One of the most sought-after indicators is die doubling. This occurs when the coin design receives multiple impressions that are slightly offset from one another. Under magnification, letters and numbers may appear doubled. The effect can be subtle or dramatic. Either way, genuine doubled features immediately attract attention from specialists. Another significant error involves off-center strikes. These occur when the blank plankette is not perfectly aligned during production. The resulting coin displays a portion of the design shifted away from its intended position. The more dramatic the misalignment while still retaining a visible date, the more desirable the coin can become. Then there are die cracks. To most people, they look like random lines. To experienced collectors, They represent evidence of a specific die state and can help identify exceptionally rare varieties. Every crack tells part of the coin story. Every marker becomes another clue. Every anomaly adds another layer of intrigue. And that's precisely why the market remains fascinated by these pieces. Let's pause for a second. Seriously, if you have a jar of pennies somewhere in your home, this might be the perfect time to remember what it is. You don't need a treasure map. You don't need a metal detector. Sometimes treasure is literally sitting on a shelf collecting dust. And yes, your spare change may finally have a chance to stop acting like spare change. As collector interest grew over the decades, researchers began documenting known examples of these rare 1944 varieties. What they discovered shocked the numismatic community. The population numbers were astonishingly low. In some cases, only a tiny handful of confirmed specimens existed. Think about that for a moment. Millions upon millions of pennies were produced, yet only a microscopic number possessed the exact combination of characteristics required to achieve legendary status. This is where rarity transforms into obsession. When supply becomes almost non-existent, competition intensifies. Collectors begin monitoring auctions. Dealers contact clients. Investors enter the market. And suddenly, a small copper coin becomes the center of intense bidding activity. This phenomenon has earned certain examples a reputation as ghost coins. They seem to disappear for years at a time. No public sales, no major appearances, no headlines. Then one suddenly emerges, and the entire collecting world pays attention. The reason is simple: nobody knows when the next opportunity will appear. The uncertainty creates urgency, and urgency creates value. Today, the rare coin market is stronger than many people realize. High net worth collectors increasingly view elite numismatic assets as alternative stores of value. Unlike modern products, rare coins cannot be manufactured to meet growing demand. Their populations are fixed. Their histories are documented. Their scarcity is permanent. Every time a rare example enters a private collection and remains there for decades, available supply becomes even tighter. That scarcity drives competition. Competition drives prices. And prices drive headlines. But condition remains the ultimate multiplier. This is one of the most important concepts in coin collecting. Not all rare coins are equal. Two coins may share the same date or an error variety, yet one could sell for a fraction of the other simply because of differences in preservation. Surface quality matters. Strike sharpness matters. Color matters. Luster matters. Professional grading matters. The finest known examples often command astonishing premiums because elite collectors are competing for the absolute best. That's where discussions of values approaching $781,000 become possible. Not for average examples, not for damaged pieces, not for ordinary circulated pennies, but for extraordinary survivors that combine rarity, authenticity, elite condition, and intense market demand. Those are the coins that rewrite record books. Those are the coins that generate national attention. And those are the coins that remind people why collectors become so passionate. Here's a question. What would you do if you discovered a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Would you sell immediately? Would you keep it? Would you have it professionally graded? Most people never consider those questions because they assume such discoveries happen to someone else. Yet history repeatedly proves otherwise. Important coins have been found in inherited collections. They've been discovered in old family albums. They've appeared in forgotten safety deposit boxes. Some have even emerged from ordinary accumulations of pocket change. That's the magic of numismatics. The next great discovery doesn't announce itself. It waits quietly until someone pays attention. And attention is becoming increasingly important. The market is evolving rapidly. Online auctions have expanded access to buyers across the globe. A collector in California can compete instantly with bidders in New York, London, Tokyo, or Sydney. The audience is larger than ever. The demand is stronger than ever. And exceptional coins are receiving unprecedented exposure. That means opportunities can disappear very quickly. When a truly rare 1944 error penny appears, Serious buyers know they may not see another chance for years. That reality fuels aggressive bidding, and aggressive bidding fuels remarkable prices. So what's the biggest lesson from this story? It's not that every penny is valuable. It isn't. It's not that every old coin is rare. It isn't. The lesson is that knowledge creates opportunity. Collectors train themselves to recognize details others ignore. They study dates, mint marks, die varieties, strike characteristics, and error diagnostics, because sometimes a tiny detail becomes the difference between 1 cent and a fortune. Before we wrap up, take one more moment to think about the coins sitting around your home, the drawer in the kitchen, the box in the attic, the jar on the shelf, the inherited collection you haven't opened in years. What if one of them contains something extraordinary? What if one of them has been waiting decades to be discovered? That's not fantasy. That's exactly how many important numismatic discoveries begin. A closer look, a little curiosity, a willingness to learn what others overlook. And perhaps that's why coin collecting continues to captivate people around the world, because hidden wealth isn't always hidden far away. Sometimes it's been right in front of us all along. The next time you see a Lincoln wheat penny, don't dismiss it. Examine it, study it, respect it, because history, rarity, and opportunity can exist inside something most people consider worthless, and for a fortunate few, that knowledge has already transformed ordinary pocket change into extraordinary wealth. If you enjoyed this exploration into one of America's most fascinating coin mysteries, make sure you're subscribed and ready for what's coming next. Because our next episode uncovers another ultra-rare coin with the shocking error that most people miss completely. One tiny detail separates it from millions of ordinary coins, and that tiny detail could be worth far more than anyone expects.